If you think the Dallas Cowboys are stuck in a financial straitjacket that's going to force us to dismantle this roster and watch our window slam shut, you've been reading the wrong spreadsheets. What I'm seeing right now isn't just a minor adjustment or a bit of accounting luck. It is a seismic shift in the landscape of the NFL that specifically favors the way the Jones family operates. While the rest of the league is out there playing checkers with one-year rentals and backloaded nightmares, the Star is about to leverage a massive structural breakthrough that changes the entire math of the NFC East. We aren't just surviving the financial cycle anymore. We are about to own it. And if you're a fan of the Eagles or the Commanders, you should be absolutely terrified of the flexibility we've just inherited. This isn't just news, it's a declaration of intent. When the cap jumps to that $305 million range, the clutch factor moves from the turf to the front office, and I am here to tell you why this is the definitive moment where the America's team narrative shifts from waiting for next year to taking what's ours right now. I'm Carlos Eduardo, your lead analyst for everything involving the Dallas Cowboys, and today we're having a real unfiltered talk about the state of this franchise and the massive championship puzzle piece that just fell into place. For years, I've sat behind this mic and listened to the critics hammer Jerry and Stephen Jones for being cheap or too cautious in free agency. I've seen the frustration when we don't sign the big-name veteran who's looking for one last payday. But from my perspective, what we are seeing now is the ultimate validation of that discipline. The news breaking today regarding the 2026 NFL salary cap isn't just a headline. It's a lifeline that transforms America's team into a financial juggernaut. We are looking at a projected leap from $279.2 million in 2025 to a staggering range between $305 million and $305 million in 2026. That's an extra $22 to $26 million of breathing room appearing out of thin air. And in my world, that is the difference between being a contender and being a dynasty. Now, let's be clear, in the world of the NFL, that kind of money isn't just extra cash. That is the difference between having to cut a Pro Bowl caliber starter and being able to lock down our homegrown elite talent for the long haul. When I look at the film and I see the way this roster is constructed, I don't see a team that needs a total overhaul. I see a team that needs continuity. I see a team that needs to keep its triple threat intact and ensure that the guys who bleed silver and blue stay in the building. From my analysis, the Cowboys have always operated with a cleaner ledger than most. We don't like the cap gymnastics that the Saints or the Rams have used to mortgage their futures. We want a predictable, stable environment. And when the cap rises this significantly, that conservative philosophy suddenly becomes our greatest weapon. Instead of scrambling to restructure deals just to get under the limit, we can act decisively. We can be aggressive in retaining our own stars, the guys who understand what it means to play under the bright lights of Jerry World. Think back to the 90s dynasty. What made those teams legendary wasn't just the star power of Troy, Emmett, and Michael. It was the fact that the core stayed together. They had the chemistry, the clutch factor, and the shared experience of winning big games. When I analyze the current state of the salary cap, I see the opportunity to recreate that stability. This isn't about going out and buying a Super Bowl with a bunch of mercenaries. It's about ensuring that Dak, CeeDee, and Micah have the supporting cast they need to finish the job. It's about having the gap discipline in our front office to match the discipline we expect on the field. If we are being honest with Cowboys fans, the fear has always been that we'd have to choose between our stars. But with a $300 million plus cap, that choice is gone. We can pay the elite, we can keep the middle-class contributors who win you the money downs. And we can still have the flexibility to make a surgical strike if a missing piece becomes available. From my perspective, this cap increase is the final piece of the championship puzzle because it removes the distraction of the exit. When players know the money is there to keep the group together, the focus shifts entirely to the film room and the field. Our rivals in the NFC East, the Eagles, the Giants, the Commanders, they've all been waiting for the Cowboys cap hell to arrive. They've been praying for the day we'd have to let our best players walk. Well, I have news for them. That day isn't coming. The star on the helmet has never looked brighter from a strategic standpoint. We are moving into an era where we can maintain our high-level roster without the boom or bust cycles that plague other franchises. When you walk into AT&T Stadium and you feel that atmosphere, you realize that this franchise is built on a legacy of excellence that dates back to Tom Landry and Roger Staubach. Those legends didn't win by being reckless. They won by being smarter and more prepared than everyone else. This cap development is the modern-day equivalent of a tactical masterclass. It allows us to preserve our identity as America's team while building a juggernaut that is sustainable for the next half-decade. What I see on the film is a team that is right on the cusp. We've seen the flashes of brilliance, and we've seen the heartbreak. But the teams that eventually hoist the Lombardi Trophy are the ones that don't have to restart every 3 years. By having the financial room to keep our core together, we are creating a Super Bowl window that is wide open. Let's talk about gap discipline for a moment, but not in the way you hear the defensive coordinators talk about it. I'm talking about financial gap discipline. Most teams see a cap increase, and they immediately start looking at the shiny new toys in the free agent market. They start overpaying for other teams' problems. But if I'm Jerry Jones, I'm looking at the gaps in my own roster and realizing that this extra $25 million allows me to fill those gaps with proven commodities who already know our system. It means we don't have to let a guy like Tyler Smith or Jake Ferguson walk away. Just because the numbers don't add up, the numbers add up now. They add up beautifully. In the 90s, we didn't just have Irvin and Eichmann. We had the Great Wall of Dallas. We had an offensive line that commanded respect and dictated the pace of the game. Today, keeping that wall intact is an expensive proposition. But with the cap soaring past the $300 million mark, we can afford the elite protection that a quarterback like Dak Prescott requires. We can ensure that CeeDee Lamb continues to have the time to find those windows in the secondary. This isn't just about paying one guy. It's about the structural integrity of the entire unit. I've watched the Eagles kick the can down the road with their salary cap management for years. They use void years and massive restructures to keep their window open. It's a risky game, and eventually, the bill comes due. But the Cowboys, we've played it straight. We've taken the hits when they came, and now, we are the ones standing with a clean sheet of paper while the cap explodes. That is a massive strategic advantage that many people are overlooking. It means we are buyers in a market where others are forced to be sellers. It means we can keep our young defensive stars, the guys who fly to the ball, and create the turnovers that change the momentum in Jerry world. If I'm being blunt with the fans, we've had some dark moments over the last few years where it felt like we were one contract away from disaster. But this development changes the entire narrative. It gives us the financial clutch factor. Just like you want the ball in the hands of a playmaker on 4th and goal, you want this kind of flexibility in the hands of a front office that knows how to draft. Because let's be honest, the Cowboys' real strength is the draft. We find the talent. And now, for the first time in a long time, we have the undisputed capacity to keep that talent.